All right, we're live. Okay, well, let's call the meeting to order and let's do the pledge. Flag here and everything. All right. Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Hey, thanks, Jim. That was really a good effort on you there. I was wondering what that voice was coming in. I thought, it was coming from above. We got the meeting called to order. We have 6 of our members here live. We have for our Facebook audience out there. And we have one of our directors still on distance learning here on the phone, so he'll be joining us that way for a while. Thanks, Jim. Just speak up whenever, because I won't be able to visually see that you have something to say. All right, we'll get started with the approval of the board meeting minutes. We have Trish. You have some minutes for us?
Yes, I move that we approve the MLCC board meeting minutes, 2 of them from July 25th, 2020, executive meeting minutes, July 16th, July 21st, July 25th, and July 29th.
Okay, do we have a second on that?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the minutes. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. All right, you have approved the minutes for those meetings. We have the member comment section is next, and all of our comments have come in about the survey. We didn't have any on there that weren't the survey. Correct my memory there. If anybody has taken a look at them. So we'll handle those under the section of the agenda, since they're part of the agenda. That is under new business. It's written in there. So we'll talk about those questions at that point. And now we'll go to manager's report. Brian, what do you have for us?
All right, thank you. So I'll follow the pattern on the agenda. We'll start with the finance packet. And just to get it, right off the bat, the club through July 31st is $151,000 better than the budgeted forecast for 2020. Page 16 of the current financial packet will detail all operating units and their performance to budget. Page 16 also details we're behind revenue forecast for the year by $300,000 and ahead of the expense forecast by $452,000. The savings and expenses year to date are more significant than the loss of revenue, creating a positive result through July. I do want to touch on a couple of department details. Food and beverage. If you look at our finance packet on page 19 and you add up liquor sales, beverage sales, beer sales, wine sales are behind forecast by more than $82,000. COVID-19 restrictions and bar closures have eliminated a large portion of our revenue for that department year to date. Sandwich, again on page 19 of our financial packet, the restaurant is behind the 2020 forecast, but it's generating the same amount of revenue as last year to date. Considering last year was free of any COVID-19 protocols and closures, this revenue generation for 2020 is remarkable. We want to thank our dedicated Sandwich patrons. Golf shop, page 21, a strong July in hard goods sales offset a portion of the outside play forecast. I want to thank Rick, our head golf professional, for driving sales in this golf shop category. Hard goods sales historically and as listed for the July 2019 variance report from Rick have shown this is a weak area of golf operations. This improvement benefits both golf operations and our owners in hard goods sales. Page 28, golf course maintenance. Premium course conditions and under budget. All I hear is how nice the golf course is. I get emails. These are the best conditions a lot of our owners have ever seen in the month of August. So thank you, Raphael. And he's doing it under budget. The elimination of shotgun starts, overtime, and efficient labor scheduling tools have our GCM department functioning at a high level, moving to a critical overseas process. COVID-19. Current restrictions are still affecting our bar, gym, hot tubs, restaurant, and inn. The governor released new details yesterday, and we will alert the membership to any changes once we receive those county mandates. Food and beverage happenings for September. Please, this is a reminder to all owners, the food minimum does expire 9/30. Currently, the restaurant is doing deliver and takeout Fridays and Saturdays, 5 to 8. Watch the communication channels for specials of the popular Butcher Pack program. The Sandwich is open daily, 6:30 to 6 p.m. with daily specials. Golf course, we have beverage cart service on the weekends. Pool service is daily for all food and beverage needs. For the month of October, I'm going to seek the board's approval to close all food and beverage for the month of October. The factors for this decision are COVID-19 restrictions, historical losses for October, overseat of the golf course, owners golfing and eating at other open facilities in the valley while we're closed. The benefits by doing this, it'll be a dramatic reduction of the food subsidy for October, and it'll reduce vacation accrual liability off our balance sheet. So with that being said, I would like the board to consider that for October. Typically, the club has only been open for Monday Night Football, Friday night, and Saturday night during October.
All right, let's, we have a motion of that on the table so we can discuss it.
I'd move that we support Brian's recommendation to close the F&B operation in October.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded. You want to speak to your motion there, Mike?
Yes.
I think that with all the financial stress we've been under, and as Brian identified, it's an opportunity to reduce our operating costs in that month with minimal impact to the membership, and I think that we should do it.
Okay, any other discussion? Anybody?
Brian?
Go ahead,
Sir.
Jim.
Yeah, Brian, this is Jim.
Hi.
Go ahead, Jim.
Okay, when the restaurants are closed, both upstairs and downstairs, is there any cleaning, maintenance, or anything else that can be done at that time?
Absolutely. And one of the things that's nice is when we were closed the month of March, we spent a lot of wages cleaning the clubhouse and getting some of those things that we normally do in October. So the expenses in October should be a lot less, and it'll only be the contracted expenses we have for hood cleaning and the regular things that are in the budget that we normally do for October.
And what,
Okay, thank you.
what about just keeping the wedge open? That doesn't get
We
it
never
for
have
you
the wedge open.
in October.
No.
Well,
Not
I miss
enough
that
foot
wedge.
traffic
I love
with the
that
golf
wedge.
course, yeah.
Yeah, it's it shuts down pretty good up here in October. But anyway, any other discussion by member board members? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay.
Aye.
Okay, you have passed that motion. All right. That takes us down to the committee reports. We'll start off with the ACC and Mr. Stocker.
ACC
Tom.
committee, yes. They had an organizational meeting in September, and they got enough people to make the committee workable. They did change their monthly meeting date to the third Thursday of the month. And just that they want everybody to know that they're still continuing to monitor the community as normal. One other thing, we do have a plan approval that the board needs to okay for installation of a pool at 9501 Clubhouse Boulevard. The ACC has okayed that, which meant they went to the property and they worked through the permits from the county, and it's a go as far as the ACC. So I make a motion that we accept this application.
Okay, do we have a second? Just a second.
Second.
Anything else?
Yeah, what side of Clubhouse is it on? Is it on the right or the?
It's on
West or east?
the west side of Clubhouse as you're crossing the cart path on the right-hand side,
Which card?
from 2 to 3.
2 to 3.
And hole number 3, that's, okay,
Oh. Yeah.
great, thank you.
Okay. It's been moved and seconded. I see no more discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. All right, you have passed that motion. That's it?
That's it.
MLCC? Okay, Condominium Association with no report, and now we have the Finance Committee. And what do you got for us, Mike?
I move that we approve checks over $1,000 from the operation and reserve accounts for July 2020.
Okay. Do we have a
Second.
second? It's been moved and seconded to approve those checks over $1,000. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay? Okay.
Aye.
You have approved those checks.
Next, I move that we approve the finance and credit reports for July 2020.
I'll second it.
Been moved and seconded to approve those credit reports for July 2020. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay?
Aye.
Okay. You have approved those
Okay.
reports.
Next, I move that we consider RFCA 2020-30 from clubhouse maintenance to reseal the parking lot and fill the cracks out there for the motel and clubhouse area, and to patch and coat the cart path on number 12 coming down the hill, an amount not to exceed $19,000, and vendors asphalt MDs.
Is that gonna be done, number 12, is that gonna be done during while we're closed down?
Yes.
Well, we need to second it first,
Second it.
and then
Yeah,
we can have a
sorry.
discussion.
Excuse
Do
me.
we have a second?
Second.
I'll
Second,
second.
okay.
It's been
Dan,
moved and
go ahead.
seconded. Go ahead, David.
Be done.
Be done while we're closed down, I assume, yeah.
I have two questions.
Yes.
Did this company do the last chip and the seal coating?
They're the only company that's ever worked at that in the parking lot since we put the new parking lot.
Okay, so the other two companies that James lists,
Mhm.
did they supply a bid or they do not do that kind of work?
They did, and we had a lower bid from AMS Paving, but they were only gonna go one time through the cracks. Asphalt MDs is gonna go 2 passes through our cracks, and a lot of those cracks are so big out there, it's gonna take 2 passes. So if you look through there, it definitely says, due to the depth of the cracks, we will crack seal the cracks twice in 2 separate moves. The other vendors didn't offer that.
Are they gonna fill them before they put the slurry over it?
Mhm.
Okay, anything else? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed, nay? All right.
Okay, then
Fantastic.
last comment for Finance Committee is that we're just getting ready to begin our budget process for the fiscal year 21. Brian and his staff have been working over the last couple of months getting together all of the information on the operating expenses and driving to keep those costs down. We've got all of the issues to deal with the minimum wage impacts and the insurance impacts that we're getting hit with. And we'll have our Finance Committee will have the full packages start reviewing in a couple of weeks when we have our first budget review. The part of that package was completing the 2 different operating estimates for the club with the sandwich renovation being considered. So when we get to that section in the discussion further on, I can give you some of the initial feedback we have on what the savings we could realize is with that. As the budget process moves forward, we'll be posting a lot of that information online on the website so that anybody that wants to look at it can go in and spend the time to review the financials and what we're reviewing and what the projected costs are for the following year. Thank you.
All right. Next up, the Golf Committee. Mr. Stocker.
Golf Committee, via Shelley Daly, the last MGA WGA 4 Horseman tournament is scheduled for Saturday, September the 12th.
Ready for the chairman.
And they want everybody to remember that the golf course closes on September 27th at the end of the day, and the scheduled reopening is slated for November 7th. And another reminder of Patriots Day tournament, September 7th. The sign up on Chelsea or under the event requests for both tournaments. That's it.
Okay, thank
And that
you.
4 Horseman tournament, that's the same day as the town hall meeting.
Yeah, it is.
Yep.
Green Committee. Mike.
No information on that one as yet. They'll be starting up their new group soon and working on the different items for the course.
Okay, House Committee.
We're very close to having a team that I've been looking to get. We have enough people now that have applied that we could field a House committee. So I think that September 10th we'll have one. I believe it's the 10th that we're scheduled to have one. So we'll have a House committee meeting, and I'm looking for 2 more applications that were being filled out this morning downstairs. And I'm looking for those to be turned in, and then I can ask permission for the chairman that I have in mind. So that's okay. So that's where we are.
Okay. Great. Communications Committee.
Nothing to report. We will not have a meeting in September.
Okay. Neighborhood Watch.
We have no one for Neighborhood Watch, except just now I received an application from Trent Sprouls. Juliana has decided not to be the chairperson anymore. She actually made a recommendation, and I contacted that person, and that person has declined. So we have lots of COPS applications, and Neighborhood Watch is not showing any interest. So anybody that wants to apply, please do. And so I'm trying to figure out, I guess I'm just going to have to broadcast an email to everybody that's signed up for COPS to see who wants to lead that organization, and then go on a full court press to find a Neighborhood Watch committee. And we're split up in zones, if I understand that to be correct. Yeah. Okay.
We are, and we still have some of those zone leaders out there and stuff. Maybe they can
Okay. All right. So.
join in on that, and maybe we can get a few more people on that. Because you won't need it until you need it, and
And then you need it.
that committee, then you need it. So you need to get some people there. Parks and Pool and Recreation Committee. Jim, have you been meeting up
Okay,
there?
the report from Eddie Baxter, who's the chairman of that committee, says the Pool and Rec Committee at their next meeting on September will be reviewing the first draft or rendering just completed by Herman Design for the ADA bathroom project. We'll show the location of the building, housing the restrooms / changing areas / storage, as well as proposed fire pit area, additional parking for carts and cars, pavers linking the amenities, the decorative retaining wall, the wrought iron fence surrounding the project, and a gazebo. Once the initial rendering has been reviewed and approved, a final color rendering will be completed showing all areas, including proposed landscape. Following board approval, we will move forward with the obtaining construction quotes. At our next meeting, the committee will also consider proposals to extend the pool PM. Additionally, the committee at its next meeting will be conducting a storyboard session to obtain ideas from all of the committee members about proposed activities for the upcoming 2021 term. Lastly, a Pool and Rec Committee budget for the 2021 term will be completed in concert with our overall club budget process.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Jim.
You bet.
Okay, there was no old business, and under new business we have quite a few things here. We have, first of all, the makeup of our committees. And Trish, do we have a final or a current list of all those?
We do, and the one thing that I will send out after the meeting and post with the e-news, the committees, the alternates, and the voting members, so our members know. And I can, the one that we were waiting for was the House Committee and the Neighborhood Watch, and I suggest that we move that we approve everything except for those 2 committees.
Yeah, we can.
And
we can
I
certainly
emailed
approve those
everybody
other
a
days.
copy yesterday of the committee things. So I don't know if you want another copy, I can make a copy for everybody.
Well,
Have it.
we need to approve those,
Yeah.
the makeup of those committees, and I'm thinking we probably should read them into the record here. Unless you want to.
I don't, well, I I mean, it can be read into the record.
I'm just trying to find mine. Do you have a copy of that?
Which one?
No, I can get it off my thing. This
Okay.
one
Okay.
has it.
Drew mine's in my, he's got to come in.
Yeah. And I updated this one, so if you wait a minute, I'll get it. I updated that one, Brian.
Oh, you did, okay.
Yeah. Here it is. ACC, Tom Stalker Liaison, Don Gray, Dan Gibbons, Co-Chair. Voting members, Harry Wilson, Jim Nelson, Lacey Clausen, Kenneth Summers, and Tom Nero. Declaration has been disbanded, Declaration Committee. Finance, voting, Mike Doyle, David Drury, Jim Smitham. Voting members, Andy Carney, Bill Aldridge, Chester Hobbs, Shelley Daly, and the alternates are Richard Krieg, Debbie Prague, Courtney Moe, Judy Grant, and Bev Webb. Future planning has been disbanded until further notice. Golf committee is liaison Tom Stalker. Co-chairs Shelley Daly, George Azevedo. Member from the MGA is Andy Carney. A member from the WGA, Peggy Baxter. And 3 more voting members, Jane Luke, Dwayne Liebelt, and Wayne May. And I forgot to mention that David Drury is the liaison for the future planning when it comes
That's why he
into
comes back.
effect. The Green Committee, Mike Doyle is the liaison. The chair will be Andy Carney. The voting members will be Chester Hobbs, George Azevedo, Sue Ketchum, and Jane Anderson. The House Committee has no chair, but we do have some members. Carla Long, Judy Grant, Paul Vigiano, Pat Kaufman, Ann Fragala, Jenny Dales, Phil Anderson. Member Communications, liaison Trish Carney. Chair is Melissa Andrzejewski. Voting members Bev Webb, Teresa Murphy, Paula Turgeon, Jill Wolf, and alternates Tina Ritchie and Jay Tolan. Neighborhood Watch Cops, Wendy Byer is the liaison. And right now, we have 2 people that have been on Neighbor Watch before, Art Taylor and Trent Sparls. We need some more for the Neighborhood Watch. Pool and Rec, Jim Smitham is the liaison, Eddie Baxter the chair. Voting, Carla Long, Debbie Prague, Patricia Hobbs, Bethany Smith, and the alternates are Holly King, Ann Fragala, Matthew Femmester,
Okay.
and Linda Breen. That's all for now. That'll be in the e-news on Wednesday when that goes out.
Okay, so,
We need a motion.
yeah, we need a motion to accept those chairs and committee members.
I make a motion that we accept them, all that as Trish.
That's Trish just read.
I'll second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay.
Aye.
All right, you've accepted those committee members. The second thing on our new business is a policy manual cleanup on the Green Committee. I think you've all seen where it's just going to change a couple words in there that got missed the last time we did this, just last month. So we had a couple typos or things that were missed and should have been done before, and now have just changed over. So, has everybody got a chance to review that?
Mhm.
Can we get a motion for that?
I move that we accept the recommendations of the attorney to clean up our board of directors policy by the elimination of the 2 words "and equipment" on page 6 of the Greens Committee descriptions. That makes the document consistent all the way through the whole
Okay.
operating documents.
All right, do we have a second for that?
I second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
All right.
Opposed, nay.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. All right, you passed that change, the policy manual. Discuss the vision for the future. Well, when we put this on here, I don't know what we're, that's kind of what we sent the survey out for. So, I don't know if anybody has anything to say under this particular section, or do we go right down to the survey and get into it? That sound good?
Mhm.
All right, so survey to members. Now we get into our member comments, and I have a few of them. So I'm going to go through all of these to, at least some part of all of them. A few of them might be exceeding our limit of 3 minutes, and there's some repetition within them. So I'm going to take a little bit of leeway there with repetition of the different questions that were answered or asked. And any board members want to jump in with answers or whatever here, I'll read the question out, and then we can respond to it the best we can. Okay. That's not. Okay. First of all, is it true that we have $1.5 million earthquake deductible, and shouldn't we keep that much in reserve just for that emergency and build our reserve beyond that instead of inventing ways to spend it on these projects? Well, if the question in that is, do we have a $1.5 million deductible? We do. We have a $1.5 million deductible. Mike, if we went through with any of these projects, would we be falling below $1.5 million in our reserve?
The projections that we have completed right now as part of this budget process, and it'll be published as we get more of this information into a clean form to put out, is that if we complete all of the pending ideas for this coming year, the snack bar, the pro shop, and the maintenance yard, pay cash for those. We've got adequate cash in the reserve fund that will continue to build. At the end of 10 years, we'll have $5 million plus or minus in the reserve, and have adequate money every year for a $1 million expenditure. So I feel that we're protected from that exposure.
Okay, yeah, we have to have this earthquake insurance. I mean, the discussion came up in last year's board about dropping it, and if we had an earthquake here, it would we would absolutely need that insurance, and we can't really allow your product here, what you guys pay for up here, to go unprotected like that. And should it happen, we do have the funds in reserve to pay for the deductible. But let's hope that one that one doesn't happen, because I don't think we want to go through all that, but we do have that plan. Let's see, what else? I think I should provide some details on saving of $100,000 a year. They say this is the impetus for this golf project. Well, I'm assuming we're talking about the snack bar renovation here. So, can you guys give us some information on the $100,000? Where does that number come from? How do we get to that?
Yeah, as part of the budgeting process that we're initiating right now, Brian and his staff have completed full budget projections for 2021, operating the club the manner that we operate it right now, with both restaurants open for the majority of the year. A second budget projection was done that if the snack bar renovation was completed, that allowed us to go to a single restaurant operation over the summer months, the savings calculated to our dues would be approximately $7 per month, is what we would save in our dues going into fiscal year 2021. That would be offset any increases that are projected for that year. But the $7 savings is a realistic and true estimate of what the savings would probably be for the snack bar operation.
Okay.
And $7 a month per membership.
Yeah, per membership, $7 a month.
And a derivative of all the forecasting is we are missing the opportunity on outside play. If the members want to look back at the January and February financials before COVID-19 and look where we stood on how many people were playing golf here that were not our owners, because we know for a fact we have 8,000 rounds of golf that we're not using in the afternoon, in the mornings, different days. The inventory for the golf course allows us to have outside play. Pre-COVID numbers showed in January and February. It's our group here, when they come play golf, they can't find the bar restaurant, or the Sand Wedge is not inviting to come have a beer after the game. So, I mean, 1,500 rounds of golf would be half of the 3,000 round forecast. And if your average ticket price from Jonas is about $20, 20 times 1,500, it balances pretty close to some projection numbers. And we know it's going to happen because all the other resorts and country clubs that offer outside play have the same kind of metrics. If you give them $1 in the golf shop for a beer off and a comment card, if they find your food and beverage area, they normally sit down and have a beer or maybe order a sandwich. So those are actual projections if we had a restaurant that people could find after their round of golf.
All right. Next one. Okay, they have a question about the revenue, the one that you guys just asked. I'm going to go to the second question here. And it's about Sand Wedge. How many will the Sand Wedge seat after expansion? Second is that if we have a larger area for lunch in the Sand Wedge, why would we open the restaurant for lunch? Will the upstairs kitchen be open for the restaurant? Is this a redundant cost of having two dining facilities open at the same time?
Brian?
Anybody want to answer that one,
Isn't the
Brian?
whole concept of redoing the sandwich so we don't open upstairs
Yes.
during the day?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes, that's the idea, is that we wouldn't be open upstairs. I don't know what that seats up there. Any of you guys
72.
are down there?
It's 72 is the projection.
72
number.
people?
Does that include the bar stools, Brian?
That does not include the bar stools, but the 72 is the state mandated limits between the table spacing, which we can't get to currently where we're at. I mean, everybody that uses the club up in the bar lounge, that's a very tight area for 40 people to be. You have service issues. So 72 chairs plus the bar, so you're close to 78 people.
Okay, so the idea is that it will be closed up there and that we will be using the Sand Wedge for at least a portion of the year.
Correct.
And
How many if we went with the remodel, how many will that hold in the Sand Wedge?
70.
78, the same, okay.
all right, and
You're gonna lose personnel over it?
Reallocation for the personnel to fit the business hours.
you know, there's also I've seen this in a couple of them here talk about, you know, well, we just did the Sand Wedge, we just did it. Why are we doing it again? So, I mean, what do you tell that person?
That was lipstick on the pig.
Well, there was some areas there that we had to address. One was the sneeze guard. We were failing on some of the health department. We didn't have a sneeze guard in front of the area. We addressed that. The tile was cracked in there. Visually, it didn't look appealing for anybody going in there. And the granite countertop was needed for a little bit extra space. I mean, come September, when the food minimum is expiring, there's bags of food going out of that Sand Wedge, and the little tiny counter area we had there was insufficient. Members and guests were putting their food on the ground. So the improvements we made there were more of a temporary solve versus a larger picture.
Yeah, I always looked at that as a temporary fix. The same thing upstairs when we did the carpeting. And, you know, there were people that were asking me, you know, why are you doing that? And quite honestly, that was my first reaction too. Why are you doing this if you're just going to redo the whole place? Well, the idea is that we do move pretty slowly here. Probably for good reason, not to rush into stuff. So it had to be fixed for safety reasons up here because the carpet was coming up and we just had to do it. And we can't wait around 3 years or so for this project to finally come forward. So, yeah.
I think that carpet was
16 years old.
16 years old, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. remember it well.
Yeah, it's it was well overdue, but it certainly is not a full-on redo.
And, you know, I want to touch on that too, because I know there's been some questions on that. The chain of command, the facilities engineer sent me an email that we were going to have a trip in the fall. He gave me in the reserve component when the carpet was put down. He sent in photos of the waffling that was happening in there. And then the food and beverage manager at the time had given me 3 or 4 different incident reports of members catching one another because of the raised thing. So it went to the House Committee brought it to the board. It was a safety issue only. It wasn't because we needed new carpet. It was to address the liability of trip and fall.
Well,
But we also
needed
we
new
also
carpet
need
too,
new
yeah.
carpet.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. It's definitely a safety issue. Okay. One on the snack bar, a more complete explanation of changes. For example, are there funds for a new covered walkway? Are we going to have a new upper level outdoor patio? Any of those two things in
I'm not sure where the covered walkway would be. We're not.
The walkway, I assume
Where
we're
it
talking
is
about the
right
walkway
now.
just side of the pool. But
I mean,
I don't
that's
think
good.
we can really go out with that. And we
I
don't
think
have.
that's going to remain as is.
Right.
And the patio cover was if we had extended out from the building, which doing the pro shop in a new location alleviates all the risk associated with cutting that outside wall, which would have been the support structure for the upstairs patio. So the snack bar would end where the current wall is. And one of the ideas that's come forward was, is this, as or if this moves forward, patio construction be completed out in that front area in front of the pro shop, put a patio area out there, put up a cover that matches aesthetically what we have over the pool, and create an outside space there that would be shaded and provide outside dining. So that's an option with that. That's, I think, much less risky than having the second story patio or patio from the restaurant.
And that kind of relates to another. I have 3 questions from another member. One of the questions is, how will the proposed renovation of the sandwich support kinds of restrictions for dining currently in place as a result of COVID-19? Well, I don't think, I'll answer this one. I don't think we're going to solve any of our COVID-19 problems by redoing the sand wedge. However, hopefully, like everybody hopes that we're not going to have to deal with this, but every 100 years or so, and let them deal with it in another 100 years. But should it happen again, not even sure outdoors in the desert in the summertime is a very difficult thing to plan for and do. So no, it doesn't really solve any of those problems, and it's not really the reason why we're doing it. Also on this list, there's about $100,000 a year. How does that break out? We've already answered that. How will this money be replenished to the reserve account? Well, we put money in the reserve account every year, so we have a designated amount.
Every month.
Every month, yeah, you're right. Every month, and so the same way it currently is. Let's see. Will the required food minimum be reduced since there will only be food service for only 7 months out of the year? Not, why not? Food minimum is reduced. How does it impact the projected ROI project, estimated savings, and all that? Okay. Well, the question is whether the food minimum is going to be reduced, and no, there is going to be a food service for the year.
Every day?
Yeah, the restaurant may not be the main thing that's open. And I know there's another question in there about closing the restaurant because people like eating in the restaurant, they like the view, they like looking out the mountains, and I do too. I mean, I think I would be on the list for the most times eating up here, dinner, because we often Thursday, Friday, Saturday have had dinner up here. But I get the idea that I've been there a lot of nights where I'm the only person, we're the only people in the place. So we just can't have that. And we can't have that and expect to try to reduce some of the costs of that food service to our members. So I would like to eat up there too, but sometimes you just can't.
I'd like to save the money on our dues.
I would like to save the monies, and I would like to see the dues not go up. And I guess I can jump to that question. I know I had one back here about flat dues increase and how that is that a priority of the board? I hope I'm pronouncing that right. It was something along those lines, that there's a flat due, is a flat dues increase part of what the board is trying to do, or if not, why not, that sort of thing. I mean, I guess I could answer this, but go ahead, Mike, you're the finance committee.
I think that everybody should keep in mind that the board pays the same dues that everybody else does, so we're not interested in seeing them go high because we have to pay them also. The reality in California is that there's, in an operation like ours where we're doing our budgets for the next fiscal year right now, we have major wage increase pressure due to the fact that California passed a minimum wage law, and this year impacted about 80% of our employees. Next year will be 100% of our employees are impacted. There's no way around that law. And the expense that goes with that, all the payroll taxes, insurance, the workman's comp and everything, there's no way to get around that. It's a state law. The second major impact that we're facing in doing our budgets is the escalating cost of insurance. Our health and welfare insurance this year is projected to go up 7%. Our earthquake insurance went up by 50%. Yeah, 50% increase in our earthquake insurance. Most of our other property insurance, I think, don't come up until next year. And I expect that when you look at this year with half of California burning down, hurricanes hitting everywhere, and the insurance disasters that have hit the country, those costs get passed to the people that buy insurance, which is us. So I would expect we're going to continue to see large increases in those areas. When you plug those into an operating budget like ours, where we operate to a $0 profit, there's not enough money that we can cut out to support a $0 increase in the dues. The initial budget snapshots that we have is that Brian and his group have been able to look at the normal operating items, gas and oil and fertilizer and those kinds of things, where we've got good feedback from the manufacturers. It looks like that will be under 2% for fiscal year 21. The wage issues and insurance issues are what they are. We can't get away from those. So we've done everything we can to hold it down, and I think that Brian and his staff should be complimented for that. The spots where we can do things to control our dues is like what we're talking about with the sandwich renovation, where, if we can save $7 a month off our dues, I'm all for that. I mean, it's $7 a month I don't have to pay. I can go spend in the bar, But I guess we're trying for that, but it's not realistic.
Are we shopping our insurance on a regular basis whenever it comes up?
Absolutely.
Yeah, David, with that, one of the, we put it out last year. There's probably 20 companies we send it out to on the different packages. Of the 20 we send it out, maybe 3 or 4 of them respond.
Yeah.
Half of them respond and say, we will no longer offer insurance in California. So we can't even get anybody to quote it.
And it's our broker that is sending that.
Well, yeah, the broker
Yes,
sends
we're
it.
not. Now, we haven't, I don't know, how long have we had our broker as our broker?
2 years.
Depends. I mean, we've got CIG, which is a different, we have 2 different brokers for the club, basically. Hub International, which is a $5 billion company, and then we have SIG, which does our property and casualty. And they're one of the best golf course country club providers in the business.
Yeah, it's always been my experience that when it comes to those things, it's you got to shop for the right broker. If you're not, it's not shopping for the right insurance. It's not shopping for the right person to provide whatever earthquake insurance for you. It's finding the right broker, and you have to trust that broker. And if you don't, then you have to go somewhere else. And so, it's just it's kind of an ugly game right now, the insurance business. All right, well, let's see. What else have I? There was limited to 100 characters. May cause important comments or suggestions beneficial to be missed. You know, I don't know what to say. We're sorry about that 100-character thing. If you got a longer response, then, you know, please email myself or anybody on the board. If you go on the website, you can find all of our email address, or you can email Brian, or, you know,
Sandy.
yeah, email Sandy. So, yeah, the same place you emailed your question into. Send that in, and we'll pass it around the board, of course, and we'll be able to see it then. And but I do appreciate that sometimes people have more to say. But I got to tell you, you know, being in this job for as long as I have, which has been about 4 weeks, I have found that I get some correspondence, and I get really long correspondence from some members. And the longer the correspondence, I got to be honest with you, sometimes, don't judge me on this, but it's very difficult to keep your focus for a 5- and 6-page letter on one thing. And I think you do yourself a service and your cause if you have narrowed it down a little bit and tried to, you know, peel it down to exactly what's bothering you, what you want us to address and think about when we're making our decisions, or what do you want us to consider. Because, you know, that long email sometimes doesn't get read as much as it should. All right, let's see. Trying to find any of the other new stuff here. Will there be a live question and answer for the town hall? That's I know Tom wanted that on there, right?
Yep.
And we'll be attempting to do that, right? Somehow.
Right.
Can you explain that to us, Brian?
Yeah, so we're going to Facebook live stream the town hall for this first one, September 12th. Anybody interested with questions, they can submit their question to Sandy in the membership office. Anybody submitting a question will get a Zoom meeting ID. We will be able to control enough, you know, participants in the meeting that we can actually have some good, you know, feedback, question and answer. If there's 100 members that have questions, we can do 3 different Zoom meetings. That will all be live streams, and it will go to the website, whatever the board and the owners have to say. If you are interested in this process, for the first one, please send in your question and you will get a Zoom meeting ID. We're going to send this e-blast out. It will be on all our communication channels. Questions for the town hall will start tomorrow, August 30th. This will go out live probably later this afternoon. So owners, if they didn't get their question answered today, can put it in for a live Zoom meeting.
Brian, do you want to address the fact that some people did not put their member number on the surveys and therefore it did not get counted?
Absolutely. So the company that we use, our marketing company, Gallus, they're generating these results. We've had 900 plus members look at our survey. We only have 233 members that have put their member number in. So it's very important to count the data accurately with our members of the club. If you could please fill out the survey and put your member number in. And if you didn't think you did it the first time, go ahead and send it in again. We are proofing the data. If you have changes, we can definitely look at that too. So we'd like to get more than 233 responses into the survey. It's been out 9 days. We're going to probably cap it at 30 days. We still have about another 3 weeks to go. But definitely take the time to put your member number on. The comment section is all anonymous. It gets printed out for comments for each project. So nobody knows what comment you have there. The member number is just for us to be able to get the metrics of what the owners of Mission Lakes Country Club want to see here.
Yeah, and nobody is matching your number up with anything other than you're an actual member, and you haven't filled the survey out 50 times, and you know, you've done it once. But other than that, you know, your comments are your comments. You know, we get comments all the time from, you know, friends of ours that sometimes they're telling us how stupid we are, and sometimes they're thanking us for the job we're doing, but sometimes more the first one, but that's the way it goes. That's just part of this job. All right, I'm not seeing anything different here.
There's one more thing on that,
Yeah, go
Ron.
ahead.
If you have a husband and wife,
Mhm.
they can only fill it out once?
We're taking both right now, and then we'll proof the data of what we want to see from there. We're going to take both owners right now, because it's the A and B in our system,
Yeah.
and so they have our ownership roster. So when these come in, they proof the data before it goes into the pool of metrics.
Yeah, that's always a tough one in that there's one vote in the household. Is there two?
Yeah. I mean, it's
Could
like
be two
because-
opinions,
Because
though.
your sign-in number to get on Chelsea, you know, if your membership ends in 0, you've got a 1 for one person and a 2 for the other person. So is those the numbers that we put in?
It's the Jonas numbers.
The Jones numbers.
Yeah. You got to be on title to,
Yeah.
you got to have a member number to be able to take part of the survey.
Okay, I don't think I had anything different on this, so I'm looking through all the things, getting your questions, and we are going to be doing this on the 12th, right? So we're going to be answering more of these questions on the 12th, at least attempting to answer them. And, you know, I will say that, like I have a comment card that we've put out a biased and limited survey. You know, I maybe it was, we're just trying to figure out what the people want. What do the members want? We keep hearing we're not listening to you. Well, we're trying to listen to you. And I can guarantee you that, or myself at least, I can't speak for the other board members here, but I don't have a preference on this. If everybody says no to everything, then that's okay. If everybody says yes, then that's okay. Now, of course, you know the problem's going to be that it's going to be somewhere in the middle, and then we're going to have to make a decision on that. So we'll have to see how much support there is for each of the projects, and hopefully we can get that done after we've given all of our, opinions. And not all the board members are sitting here thinking that all of these projects are going to be done and we're going to, shove them through. We're not going, that's not how it is. I can tell you right now, the board does not all agree on all of these things, and they will be discussing it too. And hopefully we will come up with some things that we can get started on, or maybe not. Anyway, yes, Wendy.
You know, Mike, it was helpful to me when you spoke to me about, because we were talking about the yard down there, and it does very much look like it needs work, but I was asking you about shelving and all that, and then you told me about the type of building and the mezzanine. I think it would be helpful if you explained to me, people, that, what you explained to me. Do you remember what you explained to me?
Yes, I do, and in the package that went out that's printed, there, and you can have it be 100 pages, they're trying it on one page. It says that the building that's going up would have adequate room for employee lounges, restrooms, storage space for club documents. I mean, we could make it as long or as little as you could. The goal of that is to provide adequate facilities for the club to run its business.
Right, and it was just helpful, and if people were listening, it was helpful for me to know, because what I saw was there's tons and tons of stuff, and I said, gee, you're going to need shelving and all that, and then you said, no, you don't understand. And then we talked about the mezzanine and how all of that would be available. So that was something that I didn't, even as a board member, I was not clear on. And I think just the fact that we're talking about this and you can say that out loud so people can hear that this is the way it's going to be solved. It's not just a new one of what we already have. It's a better environment.
Yes.
Entirely.
You're
Yes.
not going outside the current wall though, right?
No, the concept right now is at the southwest corner of the yard. There's that dead space when you come off the bathroom by 16.
Yeah.
There's a dead space there that we have to maintain. Inside the yard, there's not adequate space to store all of the rocks and gravel and stuff that we need to run the club on a day-to-day basis. That's why it's piled up here in the parking lot half the time. So we would extend that wall out 20 or 30 feet, something like that, depending on the exact measurements. And use that, it would provide adequate storage for all the sand and gravel and DG and everything we need.
Are we going to have a sub farm again?
Yeah, September 1st.
No, because that was my next question. If we're not gonna have a sub farm, you got room to go out that way too.
Right, so the T1 cultivar that we purchased for the number 15 project, we had to do that in December.
Yeah.
That comes due and we have to take delivery of that the first week of September or so. That's gonna go mostly at the nursery and to number 19 to satisfy a bent grass surface over there.
Okay. So, that's the start of our discussion of the vision of the future and our survey. I think that's it. Questions after viewing the survey could be submitted down there. It's in the agenda. The email address is. If you have questions, you can submit them there. And let's see, the last thing on here, we have a Zoom town hall on Saturday, September 12th at 1:30. Yeah, we do have a tournament that morning, huh? A tournament should be done though, shouldn't it?
Yeah.
You're at
It's tea time.
6:30.
So,
Is it tea times?
Can I just address something? Somebody made comment that they thought it was a very biased survey.
Yeah.
I have to totally disagree with that, because one, I sent some of the ideas to Brian, and I think I sent them to you all too. What we put together, and correct me if I'm wrong, was the projects that we think we might want to do over the next 5 to 7 years, right? If people don't want them, they can say, no, we disagree with us. We're asking, how do you rate them? And by the way, I don't know how many people took 10 as not being so important and 1 as being the most important, because usually it's flip-flopped. So I would categorically say it was not a biased survey at all.
You are correct with the 1 through 10. I've had a few people contact me on that one, but to me it looked okay. When I looked at it, I thought, yeah, that's right. I mean, the low score is the best, right? Isn't this a golf course place? So it's supposed to be the low
I
score.
didn't look at it that way, but
Oh,
that's okay.
That's a good thing to point out. If anybody, we put it on, I think the font was 16 on that one, so we put it in bold because it's not a typical rank 1 to 10, 1's the worst. What project should the board and the club take on first? That's really important for us to know. What out of all those things, what should we do number 1? So if you want to return the survey and if you feel like there was an error made in that portion, turn it back in again and we'll look at that.
Yeah, because I do understand the confusion on that. I mean, after someone said that, I went back and looked at it and said, okay, maybe that could be a problem. But hey, we're doing our best here. We may not be perfect, but we're doing our best. Takes us down to the lien delinquent list. We don't have anybody on that? Nothing on that. That's good. That's great. Okay, well, I guess we're adjourn our meeting, and we will then take up an executive session right after this. And that's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.